Hi guys. So I thought I'd show you how I use Blooket this week in my grade 11 law class. So we are second week in of semester 2, and I thought I would give my students a review slash application homework type activity. So I'm using Blooket. I've loaded the questions in, and again, these questions are a bit of a mix, straight up definition questions, but there are a few case studies in here that will help me understand if my students are able to apply the concepts. So I did assign it for homework. Now there's a variety of different options that I could do here. I could actually play it in class in a Kahoot type setting, and there's a variety of options. So this gold quest is my students' favorite, primarily because you might not know any of the questions or you might know all the questions, but there is a game of chance in there. So once you get the questions right, you get to choose one of these boxes. And sometimes you have to switch your gold with players, or you lose 50 pieces of gold. So there's always that chance aspect. So there is not this idea where the same person's winning all the time. For this activity, however, I've chosen to do just a straight up homework, and I'm using Tower of Doom. So if you can see here, it's just homework only. So I've already assigned it. And when they get to the homework page, it looks like this, Tower of Doom. And basically what happens is they answer the questions, and if they get the questions right, they can pick one of these characters. There's a whole bunch of characters, but they basically are broken down into strength, charisma, and wisdom. And then once they've got enough cards and enough people are playing, they can compete their cards against each other. And then they try to beat each other with the strategic game of choosing the right card. So there is this game aspect, but they're still having to answer questions. So what this does for me, it engages them. And if I can this is all the data that I've collected. So here's kind of the basic piece of data. It tells me how many players have played. Now, I don't have 38 students in my class, I have 22. So what this tells me is that some of the players have died and they have restarted and decided to play again. So in terms of engagement for me, this is a good tell. They clearly enjoyed the game. It tells me how many correct answers were given, how many incorrect. It gives me a nice little pie chart, which is a nice little visual. And then it breaks it down into individual people. So the students don't get to see this. They only get to play the game and know who's beating who. But I get to see kind of who gets the farthest and who's answering the most correct questions. While this person, answered 77 correct, the student also answered 20 incorrect. So this kind of breaks it down by student. But if you click on here, now I have the free version, but if you click on here, there is an upgraded version where you're going to pay for it, and it'll give you more data. So it'll tell you which questions that Maiden struggled with and which ones she did well on. Once you pass through all the student data and you get to the questions, so the questions are broken down and it gives you a nice little pie chart. But I started with the basic knowledge questions first, and it allowed me to see, how many students got it correct and how many didn't. Now, I can go through all of them, and I can kind of see which ones. There's a bunch of them that they struggled with and a bunch of them that they did okay with. So this last one they kind of struggled with on sanctions. But this is good because it tells me, next week or this weekend when I'm planning my lessons for next week, which questions I need to focus on. Maybe I need to do a little bit review on sanctions. Perhaps I need to do a few more case studies so that they can make some connections, and which ones that I don't even need to bother with because clearly they understand what they're doing. And then that's it. So it's really quick and it's visual for me because it's got the pie charts or it's got a bar graph, and the color coding with the green and red. And for me, it's just a quick visual. Are they getting it? Which questions are they not getting? And it's good for me to prep for my next week, or even prep for getting them ready for the unit test. And that's how I use Blooket as a homework piece.